Welcome everyone. And let's see, this is October the 12th, 2019. And we are coming into the Aries full moon uh, night. That is a very special night where there's a lot of beautiful things that will be coming from the fullness of this moon. The symbology is that what we set intentions for with the new moon a couple of weeks ago, whether you did that consciously or not, that's going to now come into fruition with this particular full moon. But Aries is the symbol of initiation, of movement, of new beginnings, of power, and so forth. And there's a lot of other astrological things. There are so many people on here who are far better an astrologer than I am, who could explain it better. But I did post something yesterday, I believe, on my Deb Shakti page, if you want to go there and take a look at that explains it. But I'm sure all of you are feeling this energy that is happening right now of, wow, there's a lot of stuff that seems to be coming to the surface, and it's needing to be resolved quickly so that we can move forward. And that's what the teachers have been actually talking to me about a lot this week in my meditations. And just, boom, everywhere I go, they're showing me things to look at. So you may have noticed in the last week or so things coming up in your life that are maybe even quite alarming, that you thought you had taken care of a long time ago. And now, wow, they're right back up there in your face, and you have to really do something about it. So what they're telling us, and I have a feeling what part of their message is going to be tonight, is you have to learn how to respond and not react. Okay? Respond and not react. And that is how we will dissolve any karma that is surrounding these major events that are coming up in our lives, these disturbing things that are going on all around us. Respond, not react. So I just wanted to make a note of that, because I find it interesting that just as I'm coming into the awareness of something, thanks to the help of my guides, of these beautiful guides that we're all here to listen to, then I start looking at some of the other karmic patterning mapping systems, if you will, such as astrology, and it's right there. It's the same thing. It's the same message. So I like the synchronicity of that. And maybe you've noticed these things as well. But anyway, so that's just me gabbing a little bit so that you guys can kind of come in. And I think most of us who are going to be here are here. And again, I apologize to those of you who would like to be visiting for a little bit, but we do have one person on here whose sound system is screeching, and I don't think, and the person's name isn't there. It's just this long string of letters and numbers. And so I can't address that person and ask her to. I did try to read the letters and numbers off at once and try to ask her to maybe turn her sound off and then back on again, or check her mic. But for now, we're going to stay muted, and we'll try it later. But we'll see what happens. So I apologize for the silence. I wanted to visit with you all a little bit before we started, but maybe that's the teachers telling us to shut up, myself included, and let them talk. So, all right. So without further ado, what I would like for all of you to do is to just get very comfortable. Let's just do a tiny little bit of a coherency meditation so that we can raise our vibration to a high enough place where we will all be able to receive the good message that is coming through tonight. So if you will, get comfortable, close your eyes, and if you will, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, full and deep, and just drink it all in. And then exhale through your nose and just relax your face, relax your shoulders and your chest. Just let it all out. And again, breathe in through the nose, nice, full and deep. Breathe in goodness and peace and love. And then this time, exhale through your mouth and just a little, just a sigh of relief that we're all here together, enjoying this evening in peace. And then breathe in through the nose again. And this time, breathe in the color gold. And fill your body up with this gold sparkling color. And hold it for a minute, feel it in your heart. And then as you exhale, exhale through the mouth and just give that gold color and that light and that love out to the world. And relax even more deeply. Breathe in through the nose, gold sparkling color, filled with light, filled with high frequency energy. Sink it into your cells, into your atoms. Hold it. And then as you exhale through the mouth, feel as if you are dispersing all of that love, all of that light out to the world, surrounding it in an embrace of love and light. Beautiful. Now breathe in through the nose, color gold, sparkling light, high frequency, feel love. Think about the things you love, the people, the ideas. Fill yourself up, hold it in your heart, and then give it back to the world. Surround the world with this love. Breathe it out. And once more, breathe in that gold color. And this time, when you hold it in your heart, set the intention that love is going to continue to grow and expand. And as you exhale, feel that expansion in yourself as you radiate it out to the world. Feel yourself becoming lighter and finer, more peaceful, happier. You are safe and in a place filled with love. All of you are here on purpose to be here together tonight, to build this energy, to raise this frequency in yourselves and in the group and in the world. This is part of your purpose, and this is why we come together. In raising our frequency this way, and you can feel your cells actually vibrating at a faster rate now, we bring ourselves into a different scope of perception where we can interact with high-level beings who are here to assist us, to show us the way, to love us, and to be our family once again. Sit with this love for a moment and feel each other as if we were sitting in a circle. Feel your hearts connecting now with this golden light. And let us create a conditioned space with each other in this place of non-locality, of no time and no thing, just us together here right now. Feel your hearts connecting, feel your spirits lifting. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then let's just program ourselves to maintain this frequency and higher for the entire rest of this visit together. And as we do, we can begin to come back into our outer world by opening our eyes lightly, if you choose, wiggling your fingers and toes, staying connected, feeling love for each other and the world. And good evening, we welcome you. We are the teachers. Thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for working together to raise the frequency of the group so that you may perceive us well. We are here to address you with a beautiful message that we feel is necessary to bring to the forefront of your consciousness at this time, in your life focus at this time. We understand that there are many things happening in your world that seem disastrous, frightening, horrifying sometimes, or even just really annoying. And we're here this evening to tell you that these things are nothing more than the outer reflection of what is going on inside your own inner self, your own inner consciousness. In this moment of your life reality, your life focus, each of you have decided to bring forth into the forefront of your perception those things which are finally time to let go of, time to resolve, time to transmute. The disasters, the corruption, the chaos that you witness in your outer world are merely symbols, reflective symbols of what is going on within you. Although these things may seem way out of control, and your human conscious awareness might feel like you are very much in control, there are still elements within each of you that need to be looked at and loved and forgiven and blessed and allowed to flow into a transmuted state of heightened self-awareness. And so what we ask you to do is not to judge or criticize yourselves, to blame yourself for all these things that are happening in your world. No. These things will come into balance as you bring yourselves more into balance. How do you do this? Well, the easiest way is to be still, to be quiet, to be conscious, and to be aware of something that is rhythmic. Perhaps your breath. Perhaps just taking note as a thought passes by, saying, there goes a thought, but I'm not attached to that thought. In other words, meditation. Some of you are not able even still to sit for even a few moments, to be quiet and still enough to have these things come up to look at. And so we would invite you to do whatever suits you, that gets you into the flow state, so that you will have these things come up where you can be merely the observer with compassion, seeing these things come up in your mind screen, and you will realize that they are yours. And then you can bless them, thank them for being your teachers, forgive them, love them, and let them transmute into the light. The golden light that our partner had you visualize as you were breathing in and breathing out tonight is a good one. If you find that there is chaos within yourself, if there is a fiery temper, or a quaking anger, or a flood of negative emotions, allow yourself to breathe golden light around that situation, around that emotion, around that pain, around that shame, and see it transmute into love. Remember, everything is energy, and everything is made of the same energy. It's all just vibrating at different oscillations of frequency. If you can breathe love into something, if you can visualize love transmuting something that is not seemingly love, the magic will happen. It is an alchemy, and you are the wizard. This is a practice that we ask you to try, even on the simplest of things. As you go about your day, consciously be aware of when you are irritated by someone's actions, or afraid of something that is happening in the world, or wondering about disasters. And then ask yourself, what does that symbolize to me? Is there something in myself that is a reflection of? And then sit and be quiet for just a few moments. Or walking, just allow yourself to be easy with your vision. Just relax your vision, walking, painting, whatever you do that gets you into the flow state. And once you notice these things, breathe golden light around it and envision all of these things transmuting into love. Breathe it back out into the world, for we don't want you to hoard anything. Hoarding anything is the surest way of causing pain in your life and in others' lives. For instance, if you hoard all the money you make, it goes nowhere. It is a stagnation of energy. Likewise, if you repress your feelings, your memories, your pains, if you repress yourself from taking a positive action against something, or towards something, we should say, that is hoarding as well. Hoarding negative feelings, negative situations that you don't want to think about or look at within your own self, i.e., your reactions to things that are happening, is the surest way of causing stagnation within yourself. And when you do, that stagnant energy becomes a block. And those blocks become heavy weights that keep you from moving forward in your own development. You are here to evolve. You are here to shine. Don't let yourselves be trapped by all of this heavy negative energy. Allow it to move around. And so, just as we don't want you to hoard things like money or material goods, when you have them, share them generously. Be thankful that you have them. As you share it, it comes back to you because it's energy in movement. Energy in movement. If you are hoarding, repressing, compressing, hiding from feelings within yourself or situations that need to be taken care of, that you feel like you don't have the time or energy to devote to, all of that will stagnate as well, will cause a block, may cause dis-ease, most certainly will cause you pain. When you are in pain, the world is in pain. Be responsible. Remember, you are the universe. You are the universe. You must be responsible for it all. And so we ask you to send love now to yourself, to your complete self, to all of yourself. Love it all. Love it all. Be grateful for everything that you are, for everything that you have been, because everything that you have done up till now has brought you to this beautiful moment where you shine as the beautiful soul that we see in front of us. Please take a few moments right now, close your eyes once more, and go within as we begin to add energy to this process to help you understand just how important it is and just how synchronous it is, your inner world and your outer world. If you want this world to be a paradise, then you must create paradise within yourself. Close your eyes. Look into your hearts. Take a moment here just to feel love in your heart. Let go of all negative thinking. We understand it is difficult, especially in these difficult times. Feel love. Think of something that you love very much. Think of something that you care about so much. Think of something that gives you great happiness. Be with that in your heart for a moment. See it shine there. Then let this beautiful thing be like a virus. And let it begin to spread throughout your being. If you can have love for this something, this someone that is pure and good and beautiful and peaceful and harmonious, there is no difference in loving this thing or this person and in loving yourself Feel the love for yourself now that you feel for this other person or thing. Feel it completely. And then realizing that there is no other than you. You are the universe. You are everyone and everything. Let that love encompass all of it. And if there is anything negative or heavy about anything that you love that is yourself, which is all that is, let that love now raise their vibration as well. And start working what you would call the magic. Changing all of the switches, all of the dials within each person, within each situation, to the positive end of the spectrum. See it happening. Envision it happening. See everything coming together in harmony now. The universe is made up of sacred geometry. It has a fractal nature. From the microcosm to the macrocosm, from the smallest thing to the largest thing, which is the smallest thing in another universe. It all mirrors itself. And the self is you. Feel the vastness of this self now. Feel it. Add more love to it. And then make it your practice to do this with all things. No matter how frightening, chaotic, despicable, or confusing these people, things, and situations may be, make this your path. Make this your practice. And sooner than later, you will live the way we live. In peace, in harmony, in freedom. We thank you. We are the teachers in Lakesh. And so, thanks everyone for being here. And it feels like there was a lot of work that just happened. The message was extremely, it felt very powerful coming through me. Of course, I don't remember it, but I will listen to it later. And what I see is from the person with the really long alphanumeric name who was having the sound problem. They say they think they have that fixed now. So I might try unmuting everyone and we'll see if we can have a conversation. If it gets a little too crazy, then we'll mute again and we'll just do raised hands. But let's try this just for a moment. I really want to unmute you all just because I'd love to visit. So maybe we're safe now. Good. Yahoo! Excellent. Hi, everybody. So if we do it this way, I just ask that everybody try to be as quiet as you can be unless you have the floor to speak, and just be mindful of being respectful while one person is speaking. Wait, and then you can try to speak as well if you like. If it gets a little too cacophonous, we'll go back to raised hands. But so does anyone have anything they'd like to say tonight? Or questions or sharings or anything? The floor is yours now. The teachers will come on if you start asking questions, and they'll just speak through me. So it'll be kind of me conversing and then them conversing. Sometimes it's hard to tell. It looks like Jenny has her hand raised. Jenny, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just a quick thing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You're speaking about self-love, and that's been a very difficult one for me for a long time. But what I have been able to do is to, just a quick, that's little me. I can say I love you to her. I talk to her. I say, good morning, little Jenny. And I say, don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'm not ready to look in the mirror yet and tell, grown up Jenny that. But I'm working on it.
Cool. Well, what we have to say about that, Jenny, is it's perhaps it's really good that you bring this up, because it's a good practice if you're having problems loving the you that is now. All right, the now focus of you. You start with the little you. All right, start with the child. Start somewhere. If you can't even do that, start with a symbol of you. Okay, start with, who can I envision that is a part of me? What part of me can I envision that I can at least send love to, and begin there? There's always a place that you can begin. All right? Does that make sense? And then you love that part of you completely, and then it starts to expand. As we said before, it can become like a virus. It can spread. Not all viruses are bad. Baby steps, starting with the baby. That's right. But we are here to tell you, you are divine, you are perfect, and you are absolutely lovable. And we love you, and we're giving you a turbo boost right now of that love. In fact, across the board for all of you, a big scoop of love right now to help give you a jump start with that. All right? Thank you.
I feel
Archer, you're welcome.
Hi there. How you doing, guys?
Great. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I really like what you said about the virus. It can be, you can take it in a positive way. And the way I understand it is that we are constantly exposed to some sort of programming. If you look at the media and all the things, all the negativity that we are being exposed to during the times when people have really the chance to evolve. And that is like a major distraction, the stress. How can your pineal gland fully be activated when you're under stress? Stress is a pampa, it's a signal, it has a quantum potential to it. It's Polish. When you look at the word to worry, that means to kill yourself.
Yes.
And so I wanted to say the positive reinforcement, how important it is. And there are so many people that work, effectively with that. And I wanted to mention here Bruce Lee as an example, who was writing letters to himself about himself, positive reinforcements. For example, your technique is great, you achieve your goals, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
He was reading it out loud to himself every day. So he was programming his mind, and his body, his brain was executing the program. His body was following his mind. And positive thinking and positive reinforcement. However it works for you, whatever your little trick is, or your recipe, whatever your whatever your magic is, whatever works for you, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And what Artur was saying is absolutely correct, in that you all of your expansion, for instance, and all of your receptivity to the higher realms, way higher than even from where we are speaking to you now, comes from that tiny pea-sized gland in the middle of your brain called the pineal gland. And you cannot activate it, you cannot turn it into the radio transducer that it is, so we can receive the messages that you need, unless you are able to program yourself and give yourself these beautiful positive feelings every day. It thrives on that. The body follows what the mind tells it to do. All right? So you must be able to do something, whatever feels good to you. Again, we are talking about everyone is different, and so you might play music, you might create art, you might come up with mathematical wizardry, whatever is good for you. Please do that, and you will see that this energy will raise, come up here into this human tiny thing right here in the middle of your brain at the top of your head. And then you'll be able to receive more and more of this information without having any go-betweens. Most of you who are on this transmission right now are absolutely able to do that already. And you're here to share your energy with others. And we thank you for that. But there are some who are still learning. And so that's why we have you here today to discuss with us these things, so that each time you bring up a question or each time you share something like Arthur just did, it helps to bring that information more into the clarity for those who don't understand. So we thank you for that. Thank you. Anything else, Arthur?
No, there was everything from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And so let's see. David Malley. Are you here, David? There you are.
I'm here. Hello, Deb. I want to share that you would relate to the Star people that Costa is having this retreat the 20th of October to the 26th, that we welcome not just visual, but if you guys want to land and we're not selective of the friendly visitors, that I have the gut feeling that I think that we're going to be so in tune with beyond for what you've guided us as well, that indeed this is going to be such an opening to the universe. I feel this Joshua Tree retreat, that I'm hoping that indeed that they appear in the sky as we start, but before the session is over on the 26th, that indeed that we get visual visits and opportunity to even travel just to sample their life, what a nebulous looks like up close. I have this gut feeling that this is the time. I feel so elevated, and I feel others that are going to learn CE5 that they're just going to blossom beyond expectation from this retreat, this coming 20th to the 26th. So we don't discriminate. So you guys up there up in the heavens, come. We welcome.
Well, we'll certainly be there with you. And, there are many Star Nations who are working with all of you who are making human initiated contact. And we're working with many of you who have no clue what's happening yet. But we will say that these very special retreats, for those of you who work on your energy, who work on your receivers, if you will have some phenomenal experiences. Now, each one of you, please remember, will have the experience that is perfect for you within the realm of where your frequency is vibrating. Okay. So number one, don't put limits on anything. Don't, a lot of people who do these retreats, for instance, say, we want to see a spacecraft in the sky, and maybe we even want it to land. Well, that's a limiting statement, because most of us don't use spacecraft. So we are there, just as we are here with you now, we are there with you then. But you have to remember to keep your scope of perception as wide open as you possibly can, and we will try to meet you where you are, each of you, in that place. Some of you absolutely may have a physical contact with some of us during that retreat. We have no doubt, as long as you can keep the group coherency high and strong and leave out any fear, of course, and just bring as much joy and love into that retreat as you possibly can and watch the fireworks happen, maybe even literally. So, yes, we'll be there. Absolutely. We work with Costa and Hollis and you and everyone who's going there already. So it's time to have the family reunion. So just know that it's going to happen. When you know it's going to happen before it happens, then it happens, right?
True. Thank you, Star Teachers.
You have to believe it before you see it, but don't just use your eyes.
Eyes. Yeah, no, I have this other feeling. I have this other feeling of their presence.
Yes. So thank you for that. And we do encourage any of you, if you have been on the fence about attending that particular retreat, it should be a wonderful one for everyone. So, so thank you for mentioning that. There is, our partner mentioned this evening in your space of time, this date between the 12th and the 13th of October, there is a full moon and there is a special energy to that full moon. And so it would be a very good thing for you in that 24-hour span of time to try to connect personally or in groups. And we know there are a lot of people, especially going out to your dark field skies this evening or tomorrow to do that. So go out with the expectation, even step out into your backyard at some point in the evening or the early morning before the sun comes up, and just try to commune and watch what happens. If you can keep the vibration you're in right now, you'll have a beautiful experience, we promise you. So thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would like to talk about this because I have a lot of experience on the field with ships and stuff. But what happened, what's the most interesting thing is sometimes you can be touched even physically without seeing ships in the sky. You can smell flowers out of the field where there's no flowers. So there's all kinds of ways that they can catch our attention.
Yes.
So
and we do. Again, we try to catch your attention in the best way to connect with each person personally.
Yeah, exactly. So where there's less fears. And most of the time it's the dream field that is easier for them to connect with us. So when you see ships in your dreams, or when you see star people in your dreams, it's because you have actual contact. And you can interact more easily with them because the fear factor, it doesn't appear. Because their energy is very high, and our bodies have a tendency to react negatively from this high vibration. It raises what's unsolved inside of us, like the problems or the hurts that comes to the surface to be cleaned.
Cleared,
Cleared, exactly. So that's something that needs to be worked on by ourselves, but when you interact with them, it's part of the process too.
Indeed.
They go slowly.
Annie brings some very good points here. The dream state is one of our favorite ways of communing with you, because when you go into the dream frequency, you don't take all of the baggage with you. You go as the real person that you are. And it's so much easier to communicate with you. And so we work with you, and especially this evening, that is one of our goals, is to help you to be able to remember what you were having, the experiences in your dream state, and to be able to translate that well into this world, into this perception, and to integrate it. It's one thing to have a dream communication, but if you can't integrate it into your what we call your beta life, your walking around state, then it's really just a fantasy. Yes. So you bring up a good point. If you can start to bring that more astral vibration, if you will, the dream vibration into your beta state, where you're non-reactive, but you feel absolutely empowered to do whatever you wish to do, then you'll start to live that way in the beta state. The interactions that we have with you in the field, for instance, she mentioned a touch on the shoulder, or perhaps you smell flowers where there are none. We interact with each of you in the way that is best for you, where you will have no fear, where you will feel most comfortable. So you may even see a physical visage of one of us, and yet we might look like your grandmother who crossed over a long time ago, or we might look like a friendly animal that should not be there, not be approaching a human being. Some of the things that many of you have noticed are the owls who will come near when you're having a visitation, foxes, little chirping or clicking beings that you cannot see but you can hear. These are all the ways that we try to communicate in a more equanimous way so that there's no fear. But you must work on that, and just, and it comes again from loving yourself and making sure that you are not harboring anything in there that will keep us from being able to interact with you. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But I think it's a process too. It's not something that can happen like this for many people. No. Because the energy differences is very high, and it takes a while to attain the right frequency for them to come in closer.
Yes, it does. It really does. And that's why we ask you to meditate. That is the easiest way to meet us halfway, if you will. It takes a lot of energy for us to meet you where you are. And we realize it takes a lot of energy for you to meet us where we are. But if we come halfway, it's best for everyone. And we thank you so much. And thank you for your beautiful music. We love it so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see if there's someone else here. Michelle Goldberg. Michelle Goldberg, are you here? Michelle Goldberg, you have your hand raised. Did you want to say something? Okay, UFO CE5 detective. Hello, UFO CE5 detective. Did you want to say something?
Yes. Hello, it's John Smythe.
Yes, John. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. Very well. Thank you so much for being here.
Great. Thank you for inviting me. Very sorry for being late. There's just a few dramas going on in the background that concerns CE5 again, or ET Let's Talk again. So if I could speak with you after this, Deborah, on MeWe, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
By private phone call.
Absolutely. We'll do that. We'll do that, John. I won't be able to do it this evening, but
that's okay.
Perhaps sometime tomorrow or in the next day or so. I didn't realize there was more, but yeah, as many of you know, and I guess this is me talking now. As many of you know, there was a lot of drama in the last few weeks with social media, Facebook in particular, shutting down our friend Costa McCree's ET Let's Talk page, our beautiful group, and even blocking us from interacting through Facebook to their website. It's been taken care of, sort of, thanks to the wonderful outcry from all of you. And this, what the teachers had told me is that it happened so that everyone would become more coherent and more galvanized as a group, and start to speak their truth about how they feel about these things. You know, we will not stand for being censored. And if people censor us, we'll just go elsewhere. So a lot of us have started MeWe pages. It's another social media platform. Who knows if it's any better or not, but in case there is a big gang shutdown of all of our pages, it's been done before. It happened to me actually several years ago, and I had to start all over again. I almost didn't come back to Facebook, but I did because I wanted to use the positive aspects of Facebook. It has a great outreach, but we do see a lot of this happening. Again, what the teachers tell us is we can't become focused on that, on the negative aspects. We want to notice and then take positive action, and then start moving forward with positive action. And we don't want to feed that energy of, you know, dark forces or anything else. But there is something that, you know, John has done, and I won't spend a lot of time on this, but he has come up with some good stuff to do to kind of spread ourselves out a little bit more, and keep in touch with people in case things do get shut down. Because, you know, the powers that want to stay in power don't like our peace and love message. They don't like our message of self-empowerment. So, you know, that's how it is. It's okay. We continue to work on it. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Could I just wanted to ask you a few questions in regard to my own contact?
Absolutely.
Some dogs going crazy there.
Yeah,
it's okay.
They're not mine for once, but I don't know whose dogs they were. Mine are snoring in the other room right now. They're asleep.
Oh, good. You have them well trained. So, yeah, what I wanted to ask is, it's a number of questions, but I'll try to keep them all brief.
Okay.
Basically, I have been, you know, I would smoke happy smoke, as I would call it, if you know what I mean.
I do.
For this past maybe 30 years, but I'm actually 50 now myself, but I would, one of the main reasons I would smoke, you know, I used to just smoke at the weekend, but now you know, in this past maybe 30 years, I've been smoking every night just before going to sleep. And the reason, and the reason for that was that I found that it prevented dreams. And the reason I wanted to prevent my dreams was, although they were often prophetic and very strange things happened, like characters leaving my dreams and going into other people's dreams. A dream in which I was a red dragon, and I woke up and my ex-girlfriend was terrified in the corner of the room. I asked her what had happened, and she said that I sat bolt upright at one point and I started speaking in what sounded like an ancient guttural language, and she said that it sounded very real and it was a full monologue. And she said that that was bad enough, but then I went back to sleep, and then I sat up again and did exactly the same thing with exactly the same words. And
wow.
That's what terrified her, because it was a long monologue, but it was an ancient guttural language, animalistic. And I was actually dreaming that I was a red dragon.
Wow.
And it was the most lucid dream I ever had. It was fantastic. I could feel my wings coming from my shoulder blades, and I was flying through a fire landscape with volcanoes, and the one disturbing thing was that I only had one thought in my mind, and that was kill. That was my one thought. Because I was an animal, I suppose. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask in regard to that is that I, with the whole ET Let's Talk fiasco that was happening, that started last Monday, I believe. It started on the 6th of October, if I'm right. And I was up all, I didn't eat for 3 days, during that time, because I was trying to organize things and organize people and get everything documented, save my friends list, save my groups list. And all you have to do that is copy your friends list from Facebook, and then just paste it into Word, and then you can create a new account, and you can copy those hyperlinks and reconnect with all of those people. All you need is a way to prove who you are, and number one is your voice, but that can be fake. But number two is a video of where you live without revealing too much. Like I will be able to do videos from my bedroom, which will always prove who I am. So I hadn't eaten. Sorry, I'm babbling a bit or digressing a bit, but so I hadn't eaten, etc. And so I wasn't even half sleeping, and I forgot to smoke the happy smoke, and because of that, I went 2-3 days without smoking it. And although my dreams often terrified me, I wanted to face them, because they were prophetic, often, very often. And so I continued, this whole week. I haven't smoked at all this week, and my dreams have started coming back, and they have even started being prophetic already, but I'm wondering, would I be able to take the odd smoke of happy smoke? Just could I take a break from the dreams every week or so, or every 2 weeks?
Well, my friend, you are absolutely at liberty to do whatever you choose to do. You follow your highest excitement in these things, and this is your own soul navigating your choices. It's not a good thing to hide from anything, because really, as we were speaking before, everything is at least a symbol of part of yourself. So we don't want you to hide from anything. But if you need a break from all of the intensity, and you can use that as, say, a medicine rather than a crutch, then go ahead. Once in a while, that's fine. If it gets too intense, seek with your community like you're doing right now, and ask, are there any ideas? Is there something I can be doing to help myself improve in this way, or is there a way I can guide myself? Now, we will tell you that the dream of the red dragon and the feeling of always wanting to kill, that is just it's an archetype. It's a symbol. It doesn't mean that you are a killer and that you want to go out and slay everyone. It just means that you have this driving force within you that wants to obliterate anything that is not pure.
Yes,
okay?
That's true.
It wants to make pure. One of the oldest symbols of purification is purification by fire. All right. Back in ancient times, when humans were on the earth, the only way they had to sterilize anything or purify anything was heat it. And so that's why cooking food happened, because it was a way to make sure the food was pure enough and didn't have the all of the dangerous microbes in it that would cause death at a time when there were a lot of dangerous microbes on the earth. So, there's nothing to be afraid of when you dream that you are something that is this huge, powerful thing, and it's, decimating the earth. It doesn't mean that that's not a literal thing.
Yes.
It is a symbolic thing. It also is your soul trying to tell you, hey, you do have these feelings of great, intensity. And do you want to make sure that you can express yourself in your day-to-day life without burning everyone in your path? Okay.
That's very relevant to me.
Yes. So, dampening down the intensity a little bit is a good thing. Being more consciously self-aware of how you're acting and interacting is a very good thing. So, take it with a grain of salt, but that's what that's about. But, if you, again, this is a beautiful question because it relates to so many other people's feelings, even though many of you don't relate to what he's saying about having, terrifying dreams. And so you want to escape from that once in a while. Most of you want to escape from something at least once in a while. The intensity of life, the chaos of the world. We say it's okay to take a break once in a while. That's why you take a vacation. That's why you have a cocktail. That's why you meditate. Okay?
I don't.
Are we communicating? The best way is to meditate. But you choose for yourself. All right, dear friend?
And just one more question, but
yes.
it's going to be a lot briefer.
All right, please do.
I have been discussing, basically I would go out, I've been going out, I go out basically every night and have been for this past 30 years at least. So I would go out, and I've been saying all my life, and I would go out and I would say things like, I love your craft are amazing, but what amazes me most is your benevolence, etc. And that is what amazes me most. It's more amazing than the craft, is the kindness.
Yes.
But I'm always asking, what is my role? When are you going to speak with me more? Because I need to know. Am I doing right or am I doing wrong? And so that I can act on it, and that I can change. And so then a friend told me recently, a friend from, well, I won't say where she's from, but she has a lot of great experiences and very intense, even more so than my own. And she told me, you should stop asking questions. She said you should just go out, appreciate the nature, etc., that is around you and the things that you see around you, and just let it happen, and stop asking questions, just appreciate. And I have a gut feeling that she's right, so I'm wondering, do you believe so?
Well, what we have to say is it's okay to ask questions, but don't get so caught up in asking questions and waiting for answers rather than just being in the moment of that. Your friend is so perceptive in that there is so much, what your friend Annie here said a while ago, there is so much to be gained when you go out, for instance, in the field, or even in meditation. We're there as well. But for instance, you say you go out every evening, as does our partner. It's human nature to want to see something or to experience something or to get an answer to something. But you're missing, as they say, the forest for the trees by focusing, you're limiting the experience, for instance, by always going out and asking, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? How can I live better? You know, all of these things, rather than just being there and feeling us. We are communing with you. We are working with you. And every time you get into that asking state of being, you are in the analytical part of your brain, and it's harder to receive the answers when you're in that in that analysis. Does that make sense?
Complete sense.
So, right. So what your friend was saying is absolutely right. We encourage you to just go out and to just breathe in the stars.
Brilliant.
Just breathe in the stars and feel the expansion of love. And the other thing we would say to you, and just really be grateful for everything that you're experiencing. Just just notice it. The air is fresh and beautiful. The stars are beautiful. The fact that you have a body that helped you walk outside to look at it all is beautiful. You're part of all of this. That's beautiful. So the other thing we would like to say is also to know that when you are trying to discern for yourself if you're doing the right thing or not, because you mentioned that, we want to address that. Always ask yourself, don't ask someone else, don't ask us. Go inside and ask yourself, is there more love or fear attached to what I'm doing or thinking?
Excellent.
If there's more love than fear, you're on the right track. Okay? Thank you. We bless you. We bless you for this. Thank you so much. You're doing such great work. Thank you for being our friend, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, guys, there's a lot of background noise I'm hearing, so I'm going to mute everybody and ask everybody to go back to raised hands. And I do see that Costa is here now. And Costa, if you would like to unmute yourself and say something, welcome.
Yeah, I would. I've been protecting my bandwidth here, so that's why I've stayed off camera. So sorry about that, but
awesome.
It's nice to see. I want to thank you, Star Teachers, and it's nice to see everybody here. I recognize a lot of names and now put some faces to them, which is always nice. But I wanted to speak up and say a couple things. One is to thank the Star Teachers and all their allies, whoever else might have been or was responsible for helping us with the problem we had with Facebook this past week. I know that we're not alone, and that when we ask for help, and we did ask for the unseen help, that we did get it. And I just wanted to give my appreciation to all of our star friends and interdimensional friends and guides who were there for us as a community when we needed them in that situation. As well, I want to thank everyone here and all your friends and allies who spoke up. You know, when I made the original post, I can't remember if it was Sunday or Monday. The incident actually happened the previous Friday night when my group disappeared, and It took me a few hours of a day to kind of regroup and get my head around, you know, what do I want to do? And the first thing I thought of was, well, at least I want to make an announcement to the community, because I have thousands of friends and a lot of them were looking for that group. And I at least want to just say, hey, you're not imagining things. The group's no longer there. Here's what I know or what I don't know, how it suddenly happened. So I just wanted to notify people. And what surprised me, what came back was, oh my God, a fire hose, you know, just drinking from that. all the support that immediately just came gushing out from hundreds of people on Facebook, showing support, being angry, suggesting remedies, whatever. It really was mobilizing. And I want to acknowledge that with everybody, to acknowledge everybody for that, and to thank all of you for having just shown yourselves, having stood up and said, no, this is not right, and we love this group, we love this community, and this shall not stand. Mysteriously, the group came back. I don't know for sure whether it was all our efforts and contacting Facebook that did it. I just don't know. But I have a feeling it was a combination of that, and plus the unseen help we got that I and so many other people were calling upon to aid us. So thank you, everybody. This was quite an event, and I like how the STAR teachers have phrased it, that what can come out of this seemingly negative, dark event really is a lot of positive action. We know the community's out there now, and when pushed a little bit too far, they barked back and said, no, this won't stand, and we're going to take remedies and take positive action from this. So, thank you, everybody, for doing all that and for being there. I'm really humbled by your support, and I look forward to doing better and greater things with all of you. So we're all awake now. Our eyes are open. We know what can happen, but we're not going to let it get us down again. So yeah, thanks again.
Well, you're so welcome, dear Brother Costa. We love you so much for the selfless service you have given over the years, and you have accomplished way more than we could have ever imagined that you would, as one human being, gathering people just like a shepherd over and over and over again, and with your good heart and with your good humor and your good nature. And you continue to go along the path no matter how many times you get knocked down, and we are here to help you. Yes, we did help intervene, but really the help we gave was supporting everyone's feelings and kind of helping to guide them along a positive path so that they would take the right action to get that reinstated. The main goal for all of this was to have everybody wake up and say, wow, this is very important to us, and we're not going to let it go. And we are going to find, if this doesn't work for us, we're going to find ways to stay as a community and to build this community. And so that's the impact that we want to have everyone focus on. And, it started everyone's creative juices flowing, and there are lots of ideas flowing around, and we really appreciate that. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. We don't want you to fight with anyone. We don't want you to be angry. Initially, the human being is going to be angry and upset, but let it just cycle very fast through, and then start to focus on the positive, and you will always prevail, because love always wins. It's what we keep telling you. Love always wins. So just keep loving. And if you don't feel loved after what happened this week, dear brother, then we can't help you anymore. Yes, you are a wonderful person. And everyone here is so beautiful. And what a beautiful community you have built for yourselves. Again, we want to remind you, you are building this community. You are loving each other and supporting each other. And that is what helps you to evolve enough to make that quantum leap, if you will, from the third density upwards in frequency, so that you can live the way we live. We are you, having evolved from that denser state. And we know you do it because we're here and we're speaking to you now. We just want to encourage you in the dark times, in the gloomy times, in the tough times. Please remember, you have already accomplished it. We're just here to help you bring yourselves up to that level again so that you can sustain it and stay there. So we thank you so much for that. Thank you. Anyone else have anything?
I was going to ask Costa, um, um, are you going to do a link on, are you going to start a site on MeWe? Is that the new site that people are going to, MeWe?
He
I think you're
may
muted.
not.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the question. That's a good question. The answer is yes. After much thought and conferring with the wisdom of my team and friends who all weighed in with opinions, I've decided that, one, we're going to stay on Facebook because a lot of people are still there and a lot of people have found us. But with our eyes open that something like this can happen again. But we're not going to let that get us down. However, having a diversity of across social media of presentation is now what I want. And that means, yes, haven't done it yet, but the intention is to get onto MeWe. I see a lot of other CE5 people heading that way, you know, and saying, come on, you know, follow us. So we will have a group there too. As well as I hope on ET Let's Talk to get something going, doing some readjustments there. But the answer is having more diversity and an expansive movement is a good thing. I keep saying this is this community really is a network. And if you know anything about networks, if just all interconnected in so many ways, they're what are called many-to-many connections. If one part of the network goes down, one node, the network reroutes itself. And that means that even if one person or one site or two sites go dark, go down, or disappear, there's so many others there. They reroute themselves and their integrity remains. They're not taken down and they come back even stronger. So that's why I want to keep building our presence in many more places. And I encourage everyone here who's really a leader. I'm just a facilitator and an organizer at one level. But each of you at the level where you're at also can spread out the ripples, create your own networks of people and diversify so that you have strength there. If one little node or one site goes down, there's still plenty of you out there that will just reroute and communicate with each other. And that means we all survive together. So it's with a lot of happiness that I can see that what came out of this incident is to get me thinking to like, I want to be in many more places. It's a safety thing for all of us. And it's also the right thing. It expands our movement everywhere. We want to reach people in networks that we've never even thought of in many different countries. So let's keep working it. And again, I encourage every one of you, you're an organizer and there's nothing stopping you from doing what I've done, finding thousands of people. If you want to put in the time and use the tools here, these wonderful internet tools and the communities that are out there, I mean, go do it because we're all benefiting as you do that. That's how this movement is growing organically and we all become leaders. I'm not the leader. I don't want to be the leader. I'm a leader and so are you. So let's all keep working together like this. And that's how we're going to take over the world. Yes.
Yes, yes. We want to remind all of you that there's always a way. There's always a way. And diversifying is one of the best ways you can, multiply what's going on. Because the more outreach you have, the better chance you have of staying viable. So we thank you for all of the work that you're doing. Let us also remind you that all the stuff you're doing on this internet that you have grown for yourselves and all of this network and everything, it's the training wheels that are going to come off very soon for the way that you will be as the new humans interacting with each other, and that is telepathy. Mind to mind, heart to heart connection with all beings all the time. So you won't have to put up with the censorship or the negativity or the clunkiness, if you will, of this platform. It's still in its infancy. Just think, some of you remember just a few years ago when none of this existed. You know, some of you are younger and you've grown up with this system, and it's second nature to you. Well, the children who are coming up right now, they don't even care about this. They're just connecting with their thoughts, with their hearts, and soon all of you will. This is just practice run for you. So make it as positive, as diversified, as expanded as you possibly can, and be as creative with it as you possibly can. That's how the internet that you're using right now has grown so fast, because of the participation of the communities who are using it. So we just want to remind you, you're not going to need this technology very much longer, but use it well. And thank you for your question, Jan. That was good. Glad that you could have that interaction. Is there anyone else? Or Jan, did you have another question?
Well, okay, I have one maybe question. Somebody that I've met recently that has a PhD in astrophysics, and he's studied Carl Jung. Carl Jung a lot.
Carl Jung, yes.
Jung, thank you.
The psychologist, yes.
Yes, and he's offered to kind of help me interpret some of my experiences, and is recommending, you know. So now I'm starting to read Carl Jung's book Flying Saucers, and I wondered if the Star Teachers or anybody could. The way it was explained to me is that Carl Jung's method, it could be used to help us understand our dreams and contact visions. And I kind of wondered how the Star Teachers felt about that.
Yes, it's absolutely true. Your Mr. Jung was very, very plugged in for his time. He was a yogi when most people didn't realize he was a yogi. And so he tapped into that ancient school of philosophy that was actually brought to humanity from star people, called archetypal thinking. Okay, so everything, as we were talking about earlier in this transmission, everything in your life is a symbol. That's all an archetype is. It's a symbol. And so to interpret your dreams and your contact experiences, which very, very often come with archetypal energy or symbolic messages, because the human brain cannot, how should we put this? The human brain is limited in its hardware, okay? It cannot take in most of the information that it is being given at any one given time. In fact, your science right now is telling you that the human brain and your human senses are only perceiving about 1% of all that is going on with around you. For instance, you cannot see most of the spectrum of light that is emitting into your vision. And yet what you do see with that 1% is magnificent. And some of you have looked through, for instance, a night vision apparatus or infrared apparatus, and then you see a whole other world out there that you couldn't see with your naked eye. That's just a little example. So to get back to the point, the human brain has trouble translating all of this information. And so the way that we and all of you really created this construct, the way that we are trying to assist you with understanding what is going on in your dreams, in your contact experiences, in your meditations, in your daily lives, are by using these symbols, these archetypes. It's like an encyclopedia of understanding. But each person, let's go back, each person has their own personal compendium of archetypes and symbols, and then there are cultural archetypes and symbols, and then there are universal archetypes and symbols. Okay, so for instance, if you have a dream that you're riding a bicycle and you wake up in a cold sweat, terrified, shaking, and all you can think about is the fear that you felt in that dream, it might be because the symbol of a bicycle has a special meaning of fear to you. Maybe you had an accident when you were a child and you're afraid of bicycles. However, the cultural symbol of a bicycle is usually one of freedom. You know, it's a mode of transportation. It's something usually enjoyable. It makes you feel self-empowered to be able to ride a bicycle. And then a universal symbol of the bicycle is about moving from place to place. It's about, you know, again, it's freedom, but it's in freedom in movement. It's going from one space to another. And so you have to ask yourself, when you come up with these symbols, as you start to perhaps do dream work and you record, you know, in your shorthand every day after you awaken, pictures or symbols or words, what you have dreamed, you have to ask yourself, okay, so I was in this dream and I was eating a hot dog in a poker game at my grandmother's house. And it was 1954. So what do all of those, you know, just take those apart. Eating a hot dog, what does that mean to me? What maybe it might mean to, as a culture symbol, but always ask for your personal meaning first. What does eating a hot dog mean to me? How does it make me feel when I eat a hot dog? Or do I hate hot dogs? Or what does that feel like? Just scribble that down next to the hot dog symbol. Then playing poker with a bunch of people. While you're doing that, what does playing poker evoke? What feeling state? In your grandma's house, well, how do you feel about grandma? How do you feel about being in her house? Were you even alive in that date? Is there something significant about that date? Now, if you get a date or something specific in a dream or in a contact experience, it might be good to go look that up and see if anything impactful or relatable is coming through. In other words, it's secret code. The language of the universe is symbols, my friend. And so that is how we are trying to communicate to you in contact experiences, and it is how your higher self is trying to contact you in dreams. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. That's great.
And Carl Jung was probably, in your time in this modern age, the genius of archetypal thinking and decoding. He's not the end all and be all, but he is very close, about as close as you can get. So yes, fun stuff to explore.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, who's speaking?
This is George Hernandez. I'm fairly new to this phenomenon or phenomena and this cosmic culture. I've been reading, what is this? Cosmic Consciousness from Richard Maurice Buck, which seems to resonate with, I think, a lot of contactees. But one thing that I wanted to touch on that you're just speaking of, with the perception. I've read in this book that Aristotle only saw a limited colors in the rainbow. So this suggests that our evolution of our perception is getting keener and keener to where we're seeing more and more. And I think that resonates with me as far as seeing beings, which I've seen, and things that people normally don't see, like a UFO orb. And that's just what I wanted to add. Just wanted to hear what you thought about that.
Yes, and you're exactly right, George, and welcome, and especially welcome to this community. There are people here who are so glad that you're here, as we are. But we would like to speak to this just a little bit. For instance, why do you think all of a sudden almost every day you hear something, even if you weren't interacting in your UFO or your contact groups. Why do you think every day you hear something about it somewhere in the mainstream of your everyday media? You know, it's because human beings as a whole are evolving and their receptor sites are opening up and they're able to pull in more information. So just as you were pointing out about Aristotle and the people of Aristotle's time, you know, they could not see the color green. In their time, they did not have a word for the color green. And so until they were able to be more relative to that color, they did not experience it. There's an old tale that talks about the primitive, or well, they weren't primitive, but the native peoples of South America and in the southern part of Northern America, when the people from the other countries, for instance, Spain, came to conquer and take all the gold from these people, or at least come and explore and see what they could conquer and take. There was a shaman, a holy person, a medicine man, who stood on a high cliff on the beach and saw them days out, saw the ships starting to come. And he tried to warn the people, and the people came and they couldn't see anything. It's because they weren't high enough in frequency in their evolvement to be able to perceive something that they had never seen before. He was, because he had walked in many worlds because of his practices. But over time, as he began to relate his experiences from these other worlds to these people, eventually they saw them, but by the time they saw them, they were already conquered. You know, they were already there on their shores. So not to bring a negative spin to this, because it's just, it's an allegory, but we do want to say, yes, you are evolving, and you are evolving so quickly now. It's on an accelerated path, and you are going to be seeing and experiencing things you've never seen or experienced before. So just remember to stay out of fear. Just because it's unknown or something that is unfamiliar doesn't mean it's something to be afraid of or worried about. If you were to see some of us in physical form, some of you would see us as beautiful and maybe even divine looking, and some of you would think it was a hideous form. It depends on where you are in your frequency. So keep your frequency high. Again, stay attached to the love emotion as much as you possibly can. And by that we mean give love as much as you possibly can to others and to yourself. Emanate that love as much as you can. And that will help you tune in your frequency to perceive things that you didn't perceive before in a pleasing way. As your friend Annie was saying, the gentle touch on the shoulder, the beautiful smell, or perhaps the tinkling sounds. That's how you will grow in your scope of perception. But yes, that's a very good book for you to read. It's a great primer on some of the concepts that you're starting to understand, and we are so excited for you to be on this path of awakening. And you're going to do it very quickly. You'll come right up to speed with everyone else very quickly, dear friend. So thank you. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. And yeah. And I've also been, I just finished J.J. Hurtak's Keys of Enoch, which has been a great help to me. It has, I guess, validated a lot of mystical experiences that's happened since seeing my first light orb.
That's wonderful. And we encourage you, because you are, in these communities and interacting in all of these social media platforms, please share with other people the things that you're learning from these books, movies, experiences, all of you, share, share, share. This is the best way to help everyone come into coherency. And it's so wonderful. I'm sure all of you will remember a time when you were having a question about something, and out of blue, someone posted or shared a video about the exact subject you were thinking of, and it brought everything into light. This is how you come into that higher plane of thinking with each other, and you become so congruent. It's almost like all you have to do is ask and you receive it immediately, that little packet of information. So thank you for that, and continue to be the messenger by sharing these things with your friends, dear. Okay?
Thank you. I will.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Hello, John.
Hi, Debs. How are you?
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you, dear friend.
Oh, yeah, two-way street. Let's see. Yeah, my life is really going wonderfully. I feel very blessed, especially recently. And I don't know, in the outer world, you see so many difficulties. And I'll have to say, people like to talk about politics, constantly talking about politics. And my ideas are out of sync with many of my friends who I'm extremely fond of, very, very fond of. I love them, And mostly I just sort of bite back and try not to say anything that
yeah.
I know is just going to be nothing but trouble, but I don't know. Are there any thoughts about that?
Well, what we'd like to say about that, dear friend, is that you do a wonderful job about staying as congruent with the positive aspects of your experiences as possible. But you are still walking around in that human mind body vessel, and sometimes it rebels, it defaults. Don't judge yourself, don't kick yourself about it, just be conscious about it. And every time you are practicing this conscious awareness and catching yourself, perhaps backsliding, as some of you will say, then you will find that you will grow out of that faster and faster and faster, and you'll be able to sustain that. You're doing a great job. But and that's not to say that sometimes there are those who need to have a little kick in the pants, or they won't pay attention to what they need to hear. So do everything you can with love and compassion, including, expressing your words. Don't come from an emotional state. If something has upset or angered you, say nothing at all for a while until you can calm it down. Maybe meditate for a few minutes, let yourself be still, bring yourself back to that love state, and then you can respond. But remember, respond, not react. But you're doing a beautiful job of it, and you're a great example. And we thank you for bringing that up, because it's something that all of you have to contend with over time. Absolutely. But you're all learning it, and you're learning it so much faster, and you're able to cycle through it much faster. Whereas, a few years ago, some of you would be in a situation where you would be angered or upset, and you might hold a grudge for 5 or 10 years or 30 years over it. How sad is that? And how sickening is that? It's an evil, disease-making thing. Now you realize, oh, I shouldn't have spoken so harshly or so suddenly. I'll ask forgiveness, or maybe I'll just forgive myself, and then I'll move on. And next time I won't do that. I won't be so brash or so impulsive. And you eventually grow out of it. You all grow out of it. We're here to tell you, you do. You do. You eventually get to the place where you no longer need that. And you will not be in a frequency where it exists. So You're doing a great job, though. We thank you for that.
You know, I somehow at some level, I always felt like things were going to be okay, but looking at things rationally, I just couldn't see how the heck they were going to be okay. So actually, everything I hear from you makes perfect sense, and it sort of puts a little flesh on the bones of my optimism that I seems sort of irrational.
That's wonderful. Well, you used a word just now that we want to point out to everyone, to make a point or to reiterate a point that we've made earlier this evening, and that is the word rational. There's nothing wrong with being rational, but human beings can take rationality to the nth degree where it becomes analytical and judgmental and critical. And when you get into that end of the spectrum, then you are completely closing yourself off from the receptivity of the infinite universe. Okay? So remember, not everything not everything in the universe is rational to the human mind, but most of what the universe is not rational to the human mind, but it is very good. It just isn't something that can be understood all at once by the human mind, and that's where the archetypes and the symbols come in that we were speaking with your friend Jan about. So, you know, be good to yourself and be gentle with yourself. This is a process. You know, they don't call it practice for nothing. It is a practice. It is not perfect. No one and no thing is perfect until we all congeal back into the singularity, which we do from time to time. And then we're there for a moment's time. We have peace. And then we get bored, and then we explode back out again and do all this that we're doing now. And that's the fun, and that's the adventure. So try to stay in a good mood about it. Remember, it's an amusement park for the soul. It's nothing more. Okay?
Okay, yeah. It's interesting that you said adventure, because I think people see things, some people see them as mysteries, see life as a mystery, some as a comedy, but I've always, for some reason or other, always seen it as an adventure. So
it is an adventure. It's the adventure that you create for yourself. Remember that, my friend.
Okay. Thanks, kiddo.
Thank you so much. John, did you have something else you wanted to say, John Smythe?
Yes, it's just a little question of little consequence, really. I've seen almost every film on UFO and ET, almost everyone, and I was just wondering if you could suggest any, and I would only be interested in a film, a movie, which was only positive, like something like Arrival, which of course I've seen, or if anybody has any films, because I'd like to watch a movie tonight, you know.
Oh, how wonderful. Let's open the floor to the group. Does anyone have recommendations for your friend?
I'll recommend one. It's a short film about Dorothy Isaac called Capturing the Light.
Capturing the Light.
Capturing the
Light.
Light.
It's good.
Yeah,
yes.
It's on Amazon Prime, I think, for free. If you have Amazon Prime.
For free. And does Amazon Prime cost anything?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
How much does that cost?
Oh, well, it's like I think it's a package delivery service, basically. So it's like $99 a year, I think. But then with that, you get fast shipping and stuff like that. But I think you can get it. You can also just get the movie through another.
Yeah. Okay. It may be on YouTube too, John. I I think the first time I saw it, it was on YouTube. And, sometimes films come up on YouTube and then they find out that they're there and they take them down. But you might research that if because you are over across the sea, you may not be a member of Amazon. A lot of us use it for a lot of things, but that's one of the perks is you get a lot of free films. But that is a good one. I personally can say one of my favorite films that is very positive is Contact.
Oh,
It's just
I've seen
called
it.
Contact. Yeah. So it's one of my favorites. You've probably seen all of the great classic ones like The Day the Earth Stood Still, and there are so many out there. It might be cool if you guys, when either on the chat or afterwards when I post the video on the Star Teachers page, you might add to a list. Maybe we'll start a list in the file section or something so that people can share that, because I didn't know about Capturing the Light till you said something about it a while back, Jan. And it is, I knew her story, but the film, it's only like 48 minutes long or something, isn't it? It's really short documentary, but it is so profound what this lady did. It's amazing. So does anybody else have any recommendations for John or for any of us later? Films? No? Well, it's okay. You go look for that one, John, because that's a fun one. Yes, Arthur? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh,
I
sorry.
assume many or most have seen it, but just in case not, Unacknowledged.
Oh, yes.
Unacknowledged.
Yes.
And
Oh yes, I've seen almost everything.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start the list, my dear, and then we'll add to it.
Oh, I did in the group. I do have a big long list in there.
Oh, good.
I would advise. I'll just take a quick look at it. I'll not be long. Hold on. Just a moment. Some that I can say off the top of my head. K-Pax is a very good movie.
Oh, K-Pax is a wonderful film. Yes.
How do you spell
K-Pax?
that, please?
The letter K, P-A-X.
Thank you.
With a hyphen between the K and the Pax.
Yeah. Pax being the Latin word for peace, by the way.
Oh, is it?
They were being sneaky. Yeah, they were being sneaky with the name.
I didn't know that.
Yes. By the way, just FYI, I've heard that is not a fictional story.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Makes the movie even better.
Fantastic. I will provide a link here to everyone.
Great.
And it will also give them a way to contact, to become a member of my group. Well, it's not
That's
really my
great.
group, but it's just a group I created.
The one you created, yeah, it's great. It's good. Just like we were talking with Costa a while ago, the more groups you create, the more content you put into that group, the more active you are, the better this is going to be for everyone. A lot of people are saying to watch Sirius, which is the other movie of Dr. Greer's, and I highly recommend that as well. Actually, Costa and Hollis are in that movie, so that's a good one. There are so many. My human brain's just like at a stall right now as far as what to recommend. But we'll start. We'll go to your list and then we'll start more. How's that?
Yes. Yes,
and
that's
Arthur,
perfect.
Arthur, did you want to say something else, or was that from the last time?
Sorry
okay.
about that. I forgot to take my hand down.
Okay, it's okay. Joey, did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I wrote it down in the list. I was just going to say that a great old 1970s series was Alien Nation, which was a conjecture about what would happen if a big craft crashed to Earth, and the people on it were integrated into the Earth's population, and the various difficulties and problems and synchronicities and wonderful happenings and everything else that came as a result of that. And it's just a really good series. It's very
I'd forgotten about that one. Thanks for bringing that back up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'd forgotten about it. That's a great one. Yeah.
It is a great one. Yeah, very entertaining.
Yeah, thank you.
The other one that I've just finished binging on is the whole Stargate series, although I've got to say that I didn't really like the fact that, you know, the USA has always got somebody they've got to be in conflict with, which is the main scenario in the Stargate series. But all of the rest of it covers everything, every rabbit hole any ufologist has ever been down appears in the Stargate series and movies. And if it's indeed true that, you know, we have the technology now that's ever appeared in any of the media, then it's simply amazing that it's all been hidden from us for so long, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. No stone will go unturned here very soon. I have a feeling everything is going to be revealed. So, Arthur, did you want to say something else too?
Yes, there is one that I just remembered. I'm sorry. It's called E.T. Contact, Gods Among Us. It's a very good movie because it is also with a person who's a contactee who's channeling, and they're explaining the quantum potential, black holes, instant communication, parts of that. That's great. There's a part about this movie where Dr. Nolan is there, a person with whom Dr. Greer had to do, and by whom Dr. Greer got burned a lot. And this person is somebody who is now with the To the Stars Academy, which is very interesting.
Oh, yes.
Definitely on the payroll of the not so nice people. But other than that, there's a lot of truth to the documentary. There's only this little seed of doubt and fear, which we know is
not true.
Yes,
right.
It's psychological warfare against the population, basically. But there is a lot of truth in that movie, so it's worth it to see it, just to, you know, see also how these people are using all the information that we're learning from the teachers to integrate the negative message as well.
Right, and you bring a good point here in that please remember that these movies are made by human beings and to make a profit usually, although there are some out there that were just made to get the word out. But just remember to be discerning when you encounter, you know, like for instance, as Joey was saying with the Stargate series, there's so much underlying information in a series like that is good information for you. If you can just set aside your feelings about the control mechanisms, the warmongering, go USA, that kind of thing, military presence, you can get nuggets of treasure out of just about every film or documentary ever made about this subject, but you do have to steel yourself to some of the negative aspects of those, and some of them are just really negative, and and you'll know when you encounter them that you just don't want to watch them. But for the most part, you're going to get at least a nugget of treasure out of each one, and just put it in your little bag of tricks in your heart and move on to the next thing. But thank you for that. I didn't know about that one, and I will watch that one.
Thank you. I write in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. John, did you have something else? John? Maybe he didn't.
Yes. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Cool. One that I would definitely advise everyone even to watch tonight would be a film from 2004, and it's called The Forgotten, and it's a very deep and emotional, and it also seems a very realistic depiction. It's a very touching film with a famous actress, the red-haired woman from that movie Hustle, was it? Hustle, with Burt Reynolds. A few years back, it was about a woman who was a prostitute, and Burt Reynolds was like a porn movie creator, you know.
Right.
It was from a few years
I
back.
remember that. Yeah. It was
It's
back in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the red-haired woman, and it's just a really excellent film, really excellent. The Forgotten.
Okay, The Forgotten. All right, thank you. Yes, Arthur?
Last one, A Field Full of Secrets, where a bunch of young people decipher crop circles. They take 3D parts out of those images and assemble a UFO that has a plasma propulsion system that they don't get to work, but because they don't really get it to work, they get to show the movie. So at least they show how it all comes together and what information they could extrapolate from, I think, 10 or 12 crop circles.
It's an interesting film.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Put that in the chat too, just so we can't forget, because that's fun. That's a fun and interesting thing to watch. A very interesting concept. This is, we'd like to break through one more time to comment on that. These occurrences that you call crop circles are absolutely packets of information, layered packets of information that have lots of information and knowledge that are embedded not just in the design, but in the energy field that surrounds those crop circles. Even looking at a photograph of a real crop circle, and there are many that are created not by human hands or feet or technology. They are packets of information much like your puzzle pieces. So the people who made that particular film were on the right track. If you put these puzzle pieces together in the right way, and you will eventually, because as you raise your frequency and you keep sustaining the higher frequency, you will finally have that aha moment where all of these things, you can put them together and you will be able to create free energy technology, for instance. You will be able to create healing mechanisms, for instance. You will be able to create the next set of training wheels for moving into other places in space, i.e. a teleportation system. And again, we're calling those training wheels because really most of us don't use any technology other than we travel at the speed of consciousness. Okay, we will it, we're there. And you will as well. Some of you already do. Well, you all do in your dream state, always. But volitionally, that's where you're going. That's where you're moving. Okay, we just wanted to make that. Yes, Annie. Annie, yes.
Yes. I find all this technology advancements interesting. I have a friend who's working on a free energy device. He is helped by ETs too. But the problem is that the people that are controlling this planet are not letting us evolve, and they're not letting us using those technologies or medical advancements, and that's a big problem. And I don't know really how to solve this, because you see all the Wi-Fi technology and the 5G is coming, and it disturbs the brain and the immune system, and that it stops the consciousness from growing too. Because if we could change the energy we're using, we could change the consciousness as well. And it's been told that Egyptians were using free energy.
Yes.
And
Humans
their
have used
consciousness
free
level
energy.
were very, very high. So I think that's why they don't, the people that control this planet don't want us to use this new energy, because it would probably
we will have
help us
we
progress
would have
too
no use for
fast.
them. Well,
Of
you would have
course.
no use for them in the first place. Their only trouble with that is that they would lose control quickly of the population, and then they would not be viable. Now, we do want to speak to one thing that you said, and that is that all of this dangerous, and some of it is dangerous or could be used for dangerous means, the technology that is coming up, such as your 5G. You mentioned that it will cause, anomalies in the human body, but it will not stop the accelerated path of the consciousness growth. It will not. You cannot stop it. That is way bigger and far above what happens with the human form. The human form is a third density form. As you expand your conscious awareness, you will take parts of your physicality with you, and you'll be able to use it however you want to, if you want to express that way, but you may not use it all the time. Just as we don't use a physical form all the time, we do from time to time because it's appropriate, especially when we are interacting with human beings in a certain manner. But please know, nothing stops your consciousness from evolving and growing and continuing to create a better world, a better existence for yourself. And what we want to tell you is to not be afraid of these things, not just take it all laying down. If everybody marches you into a prison camp right now and locks you up, it sort of, for a while, might impede your efforts to break free and be liberated and do good things. But you cannot hold the spirit back. You cannot hold your consciousness back. And so if some of these technologies do, for instance, cause more dis-ease in the human body and more degradation of the environment and all of this, what we want to tell you is, don't get attached to the feeling state that you have about that. Put your feeling state and your focus on what you do want. And remember, again, we tell you, love always wins. The higher vibration always overcomes the lower one. There are phases, cycles, where lower vibration kind of comes to the top and, holds on for a while. This has been seen, as you said, with the ancient Egyptians. They had a much higher technology. The Atlanteans, the Lemurians, the people from Mu, and many civilizations you know nothing about right now, all have gone through these phases and have moved on. Why do you think they disappeared? We look at, for instance, the Mayan people. They were very highly technologically advanced in many areas. And then suddenly, where did they all go? Now, there are vestiges of them in human form on this planet at this time. But where did that civilization go? Did they die out? Did they kill themselves? Did they blow up the earth? No. They raised their frequency and sustained it, and they are living on a different frequency. That's all that is. So, please don't put so much worry and fear into things that are happening or things that are being kept from happening. Do your very best, stay positive, stay loving, and stay creative, and watch the magic happen. Again, we're just admonishing all of you, please don't get drawn into all of these programs that are being shoved down your throats constantly, that, you know, even by good and well-meaning people, that the world is after you and you are going to be slaves, you know, if you don't watch out. You can't be enslaved if you don't wish to be. So we hope that we're giving you the message in the way that you need to hear it.
Well, I've been told this 30 years ago, not to be to get caught in this negativity, because they told me it was coming. But it's hard.
Well, it's very difficult. It's a practice
hard to live like that. It
is
all that. You know, sometimes I say, "Oh, I will reincarnate into a worm because I don't want to be conscious here."
And some people do, huh?
Some people do. But when you are, it's really hard. And when you care about people, and I'm very sensitive. So I feel everything, and I feel everyone. I feel the animals, and I feel the planet. So it's, you know, I can't wait to see a very positive change at the end of. It's like being in a tunnel and seeing the light at the end, but you're not there yet.
I know. Human beings are very impatient, of course, but we just completely want to remind you that you do achieve this, and you do win out, and love does win. And just don't be afraid. Things can look pretty scary in an amusement park at times, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Yeah. No.
So
but yeah.
You just
want to be
well,
yes, it's hard.
Things
it's
to advance, and you know, and I've been working at it for the past 50 years, so it's like it's a long
understand.
way.
But it's a speck in the ocean of time. It really is.
I
If you
know.
want to talk about time as a real thing, but it's hard from your perspective. We understand, but you make it. You do. So. One more time from John, and then we probably should let our partner have her evening again, because it's getting late, and all of you as well. John, what did you want to say?
Hi, one last question, which is what can we do if our movement, the CE5 movement specifically, is compromised from within? What can we do if we have a spy among us? You know.
Well, you just go somewhere else. You don't have to, or you know, if you find out who they are, of course you can ask them. But again, we beg you not to be focused on that kind of thing. There are always going to be dissenters. There are always going to be skeptics. There are always going to be troublemakers. But you will not perceive them, and they will not be able to bother you if you keep your focus on something higher and finer. Remember, two frequencies that are non-harmonic cannot exist in the same space and time together. It's impossible. You must have to have some familiar particles of frequency similarities to a negative aspect to be able to perceive and interact with and be affected by a negative aspect. That's why we're telling you all of the disasters, for instance, in your world that you're seeing, those are symbolic, those are archetypical. They will not exist if you quell the fires within yourself, if you stop the quaking of rage, if you stop the flood of negative emotions. So the thing about spies and all of that, you know, it's good to want to play the or to practice being the good person who keeps everything in order and who keeps the peace and keeps the bad guys out. But remember, there are no bad guys. There's only you. There's only you. And these are all reflections of the different facets of your being. And so it's okay if you want to focus on that, but know that the more you focus on it, the more spies you're going to discover and the more mayhem you're going to be involved in. And if that feels good to you and that's your highest excitement, go for it. But if you want to ascend and be in a happy place where there is no discord, no disharmony, then you have to take your focus away from that and start using your energy to build these positive communities. And, those who are not resonant with that, i.e. the spies or the troublemakers, they'll fall away. They won't have enough energy feeding them, and they'll go elsewhere, or maybe they'll evolve like you have, and they will join the group and be engaging and be good, be good community members. Does that make sense to you, my friend?
Yeah, but I was more concerned about more so professional spies, somewhat like, say, for example, some member here among us who could be working for some agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key word.
Mm-hmm.
But what can we do about these people?
Don't focus on them. Focus on the good people. Again, that's the message. They have no power if you don't give them any energy to feed off of. It doesn't matter if they're professional or not. And they can stir up some stuff, but again, don't react to it. Put your thoughts and your energy elsewhere. And, if this particular platform falls apart, it just is a symbol to you to build something better. And you will, because you're a genius and you can do it. And that's who you are. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
With love and compassion, we just are trying to get you to understand it's the same message over and over again. Focus on what you want and don't focus on the things that you perceive are as wrong or evil or negative. And they will fall away. They won't have energy. You will not be you won't be resonant with them anymore. They will be out of your frequency. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else before we give this back to our partner? All right. If you will, she's gonna mute everyone, because we'd like to just say one more thing. And that is to invite you once again to just relax and close your eyes for a moment. Because we'd like to gift you with a little energetic present. And if you will, just relax your body and allow yourself to breathe and let your thoughts dissolve away for a moment. And just feel us or perceive us in however you choose to do so. Whether it's through the sound of this voice, or you literally physically see or feel or hear us standing next to you, touching your arm, filling you with an energy of love and wisdom and liberation and strength and compassion and peace. And on the carrier wave of our partner's voice, we are now bringing to you more upgraded information to your DNA, to your neurological system, to all of your systems, bringing everything into a much higher, finer, tuned form. Each of you plays such an important part in this beautiful upward movement of humanity. And we wish to bolster your systems. We wish to gift you with so much love that you can be nothing but love. In your day-to-day interactions, be love. In your meditations, be love. In your sleep, be love. And soon you will see only love. Share this with all you know. Be of selfless service to those who have nothing. If you find that you feel you are lacking in something, do something that is relevant to that sense of lack for someone else. And watch yourself gain in abundance. Be love now. Be in the now, always. Don't waste your energy on worry or wondering what the next step is or asking what's to come. Be in the present moment, fully conscious and filled with love, filled with the same gratitude we have for you, and know that you have achieved this great achievement. Soon your world will start to look completely different to you because you created it that way. And we thank you for it because we are here with you today because you did this for us and for yourselves. We thank you. We bless you. We are always with you. We are the teachers in Lakesh. So everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we'll probably leave it at that, and
Thank
I
you.
will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love all of you so much.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. And
Blessing,
I'll,
blessing.
thank you. Blessings to you too. And I will post the recording. I always have to convert it to YouTube once they send it to me so that I can post it on Facebook and in Instagram and now on MeWe. And I will post it to my webpage as well, which is debshakti.com. All of these videos that we make are on my website. So if you ever miss out on one and you can't find it, you can go there too. So thank you again, everyone. And we'll do this again very soon. And I promise we'll do it at a different time, maybe, so that those who live on the other side of the world aren't up in the middle of the night. So we can take turns for that. Joey, I know that's you. So thank you so much. And I just love each and every one of you. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you for listening and for contributing and for doing all that you're doing. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you. Bye. Namaste.